Hi guys, it's your girl Touche, and I know it's been a minute. Yeah, I've just been, all around, everywhere, all around, trying to like get some things together. But yeah, um, I'm already guessing that by the cover photo, you already know what we're on this video for. Yep, I'm definitely going to discuss, or we will be discussing, Baddies West reunion part 1. First of all, if you're new to my channel, go and smash the subscribe button, and without wasting so much time, let's delve right into the tea of the day. Cause you lit the match that ignites the flame. I'm the TNT, but you're the spark to blame. Alright, so first disclaimer for the reunion part 1 of Baddies West is that two beautiful ladies did not participate. If you're wondering who these ladies are, they were of course Christian, our baddest Christian Rock. I'm not too sure her reason why, but I would guess, the fact that, she was not really in good terms with Nally, based off what I know on what had happened previously. I don't know if these ladies had kind of talked it out, eventually, but also the fact that she's, quite very pregnant. So yeah, I'm sure she didn't just want to like get mixed up in that whole environment, because of course you never know what girl might pop off and not even, consider the fact that she's pregnant. Yes, that, and of course our baddest lady, Razor, didn't show up as well. I'm not too sure why also, but I also would want to think that she didn't show up because of course she was expecting some kind of heat from Scotty, because according to what's on the streets, she had been running her mouth basically. So maybe she was okay with doing that whole gangster shit online and not necessarily taking it a notch further by making it physical. Also, if I must break the suspense, of course, our host for this reunion show were Janisha John, our one-time regular, and our guest host was Stevie J. Yes, the very famous Stevie J, from Love and Hip Hop. I must say, Stevie J, Stevie J is really a clown, honestly, because when he came on this show, he was doing less of question asking and more of flirting, because he flirted from the very top, which is Janisha John, all the way down to the girls, right? So like it was really a very funny sight, because he didn't even try to hide it. He like brought his flirting game on the show. So like it was really, really hilarious, because even at some points Lo had to ask if if Stevie was really the host because but yeah. All right, so moving straight into the group conversations that were had, and just basically summarizing. First of all, we're going to start with Sky and Stunna Girl. So first of all, I was really, really shocked at this pair, because during the episode, Sky was never that close to Stunna, right? I could understand that, yes, they were not enemies as well, but then there was no friendship that was there, to the best of my knowledge. So for me to have seen her all bodied up with Stunna, at this or during this reunion show was a little bit weird for me. And I was trying to like add everything up, and of course I did eventually, based on the conversations that I got from the other girls, because it did seem like Sky had kind of ruffled her feathers up rather with certain ladies such as Rollie, right? So she needed somebody that she could have in her corner. And Stunna could be the only girl, because these other ladies already had their own clique. Rollie already was in a clique with Nally and what's her name, Scotty. And on the other side we had what's her name, Kat and Lo, who of course were not really besties. You already know that Kat had some kind of internet feud with Stunna, so there was no way that Sky could go to the other side, right? So basically, Stunna was like the only friend she had as at that point in time, especially since, Sean didn't show up. So these ladies actually addressed a couple things and mostly talked about who they were out for or who they had feud with. Of course, Sky disclosed that she was ready to be childish and, get active during the reunion show with Rollie. And Stunna said she had her eyes set on Biggie and basically also used the opportunity to clear the perception, because according to Stunna, she said that people, kept telling her that, she snapped at Biggie only because she answered a question. And basically, Stunna was like, that wasn't the case, that prior to that moment or prior to that argument in the bus, Biggie had kind of been antagonizing her because, obviously she had beat up her alleged friend, of course, Tommy. For Nally and Scotty, Nally basically asked Scotty, who she was at odds with. Scotty said everyone except for, Razor, because apparently Razor was, going on live and saying a lot of shit, basically being an internet gangster, right? And she was very much ready to rearrange her BBL. That was very funny to me. And for Nally said that she was ready for Tommy, right? That she was going in on Tommy, and that nothing was gonna make her change her mind or even have a conversation or anything, that she was ready to get active with Tommy. All right, so over to Rollie, Kat, and London's booth. First of all, Rollie had like a lot to say about, DJ Sky. She talked about the whole internet feud between herself, Sky, and Slim. Like it was a whole lot of BS that was happening, with amongst the three ladies. And then she also said that, of course, she had her eyes set on Stunna as well. Stunna was definitely also on her hit list. Now, Kat, on the other end, had some things to say about the whole perception people had of her being Stunna's assistant, and basically she just stated that she needed to address that and correct that perception, because that she was only just basically coaching her younger sister, basically, according to Kat. And when she said that really caused me to laugh, because in the first place nobody asked Kat, Stunna never walked up to Kat and asked for any personal coach. So if even based off what I watched, it was not even giving coach, it was giving really more of a follower / assistant. So if she says she was only tied to Stunna because she was trying to coach Stunna, she didn't really display that perfectly for people to see. But over to London. London said she had BS with nobody, that she was only on there to have a good time. The usual London. Out of all these girls, I feel like London was the only person who really didn't want to catch a fade and was really just all about, having a good time, enjoying the experience, and, making great connections, right? If not for the fact that, Sean, in the previous episodes, couldn't or was not, open for constructive criticism, London wouldn't have been involved in that physical altercation with her. But that was London's own contribution to the whole conversation. Now over to the reunion. Like I mentioned earlier, two ladies didn't show up, Sean and Razor, and majority of these ladies were not dressed in a classy dress and heels. They were mostly on sneakers. And this, of course, forced Stevie to ask Nally for one why, right? And Nally basically said, that she had business to handle, right? And, this also, made Stevie ask her, okay, who did you have beef with on the show? And basically, she said that everyone, that she wasn't sure because apparently, people have been going online and popping off, right? But she hasn't really been following, everything that people have been saying. But she was ready for whoever was, going to catch a fade. And then after that, she, slightly spoke on the whole, Tommy situation, basically saying that, she had been getting interview invites for her to really talk about, whether or not Tommy was paid to, lose in the boxing match, basically. And she basically said that she was ready, like she was ready to catch a fade. Now, mind you, the first set of girls that got into the whole reunion platform were of course Nally, Rollie, and Scotty, who were of course seated on the right side of the room, right? That's on Stevie's side. Now, Rollie was supposed to have been on the left side, just beside Janisha, and she didn't. When she was asked why she was seated, where she was seated, she basically said that she was okay where she was, and the reason why she was there was so that she will be prepared for whomever was going to come for her. So basically, like I mentioned earlier, these girls were like, they were not even about to have any conversation, like they were ready to go, right? Scotty for one mentioned, okay, actually Scotty was the only person who was on heels, and she basically mentioned that she just only recently found out that Razor, who was the person she was coming for, was not attending, right? And so of course she didn't finally have who she was going to get into a feud with. Now, let's talk about the entrances that came with the heat or the fire. Now, Stunna Girl and DJ Sky finally walked in, of course, also in sneakers. And if I must say, this whole situation that happened with Stunna, Sky, Rollie, and Biggie was extremely funny, if you ask me. First of all, Stunna walked in, both of them walked in, they didn't sit. It did seem like, for me, based on what I watched, it did seem like Sky was more like, following, like I said, once again, following, someone. In the previous episodes, she was all bent up, or she was all bent on, following Sean's movement, and this time around in the reunion it was Stunna. So basically, when Stunna came in, she kind of paused, she didn't sit down. It did seem like Sky was like watching Stunna's movements to know what actions she's taking next. So like I mentioned, both these girls came in, and Stunna kind of paused, bent to I think probably tie her shoelace, and now went straight in for Biggie, ran across the room for Biggie. But of course Biggie met her halfway, and this was like a whole mess for the both of these ladies, because they came in with the fire but they were both dropped, right? Stunna got hit first, from what I saw or from what I watched, but like basically Biggie threw more punches than Stunna, right? I feel like the only leverage Stunna had was the fact that she was gripping onto Biggie's hair, which is obviously like the basic Stunna girl fight. She's always looking for like how to pull the wigs and all of that. So basically that was the only leverage she had. But like Biggie definitely went in with like more punches, right? And now over to Sky. First of all, after Stunna ran across the room for Biggie, I saw this like hesitation from Sky, looking at Stunna and Biggie going in, and then also trying to decide whether she wants to go in for Rollie or not. And when she finally decided, she went in for Rollie, and Rollie still caught her off guard. I wouldn't say off guard, because I mean she went in she went in intentionally. I mean, she knew what was coming because she was the one that initiated it. So basically, when she went in she finally decided to go in for Rollie, it did seem like she wanted to kick Rollie because she threw her leg, and her leg was caught by Rollie, and Rollie threw her to the ground. So like I said, it was like a major mess for both ladies, because you came in to initiate a fight but both still got dropped. So yeah, this was where like the first part of the reunion ended. And I mean, you can also like go back to like the beginning of this video and watch through the clip to see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay guys, so let me know what you think about every the event so far. Of course, like there were certain like chit chats here and there amongst the girls, after they had finally been after they finally sat down, but chats that I don't necessarily deem that important to bring on here, because I mean these chats were just back and forth. So basically, based on the much that has been spoken on here, let me know what you think about first of all these whole cattiness amongst the ladies, the beefs amongst the ladies as well. Which ones are valid and which ones aren't? Do you think that, first of all, the fact that Stunna and Sky came in and basically ran straight up to their enemies was very pre-planned? Because it did seem like it was pre-planned to me. And also, do you think that it was worth it? Do you think also as well that, you know, Sky has been a follower from day one and, you know, doesn't necessarily deserve a seat in the next season? Because apparently, according to Nali, she said like half of the girls were not coming back. So let me know in the comment section what girls you would love to see in the next season. Until then, see you in my next video. Ciao. Burning holes inside my brain, feel the fire.